So anyway, this one is a big deal, okay? You have not learned composition, they're called compositions. You haven't learned them yet. You didn't learn them in Algebra 2, okay? They used to have them in Algebra 2. I don't know, I guess they moved them, I think. But anyways, if you're here at Camp, I didn't teach them to you last year because I was teaching Algebra 2 and we didn't have it on there. So it's called composite functions. And it's basically just when you combine two functions together. Okay, you have different definitions here that might help you understand what this means. But I'm gonna give you just the basic, what is it that we're doing? So rather than plug in a number, like you've been doing, like you just did a few minutes ago where you plugged in a number into an equation and you've been doing that for years, you're gonna plug in one equation into another equation. So they plug into each other, okay? That's what we mean by when we say composite functions. So before we get there, before we do that, let's talk about this. The symbols first, because you have to know how to read the symbols. There's two ways, actually there's three ways, but it looks like we're just gonna do two. This means, okay, that G is going to go inside of F. Function G is gonna go inside of F. So inside G inside F. Okay. Also, one thing that I want you to note on here, let me see if I can zoom in a little more, is this symbol right here, this open dot, does not mean multiply. Okay, it doesn't mean that. It's very often confused with multiply. But it doesn't mean that because it's an open dot. That open dot's a new symbol for you. It means compose. So I'm gonna compose F, compose G. In other words, I'm gonna put G inside of F. Okay. I think this one is easier to understand. It's the same thing. G is gonna go inside of F. Okay. Now I'm gonna tell you this, and then it's on video. I always get hesitant because it's on video because it's embarrassing, but it will help you to remember, like on the long run, if you forget who goes inside of who, especially with this one. But even with this one, I would tell my Algebra 2 students this, and it would help them on the long run. Just think of a baby, okay? Baby inside the womb of the mom. Okay, so this goes inside. And I know it's a silly comparison, but it does help to remember over a period of time. This goes inside of that, okay? So we're gonna do the front side tomorrow, which is called operations, which is how you add, subtract, multiply, or functions. But right now I wanna focus on composition. So this is the back side, turn to the back. Okay. And I want you to be very, very attentive here in the beginning because this is when we'll explain it like very detailed. It's new to you, so it's always hard when it's new, but then it gets really easy like piecewise functions, right? And it got kind of easy after a while. Okay, so here we go, guys. This means, now before I write, okay, don't write this. I will tell you, like, you've already been doing this. You were doing this is the second ago. Like, if I do the F of 2, right, you guys know that you plug a 2 right there. And then you get 2 plus 7 is nothing. That's the same thing, but instead of a 2, you're plugging in an equation. So I'm going to color code here. Let me use red for this one and purple for this one. So baby is G inside of F. Okay, that's how you read it. So here's what it is. Okay, in basic terms, this is going to go inside of there, just like you would plug in a 2. Okay, and so to help you out, here's what I would suggest you do. Especially in the beginning, once you get it, you don't have to do this, but in the beginning, just so it makes sense in your head, wherever you're gonna plug in, just put a circle there, plus 7. And you might only have to do that for the first one. After that, you'll be good. In this circle, that's where you plug in the other stuff. G of x in this case, so x squared. Notice my color coding there, okay? And G, one inside of that. So right there, we just composed two functions. We got two fused together, okay? And they created a brand new function, okay? So if you got the gist of what we just did, that's the main idea. That's what composing function is, okay? After that though, we do simplify. So simplify just means add whatever you can add, multiply whatever you can multiply, make it shrink it down, right? So in this particular problem, I can add those two because they're just numbers. Okay, so when I compose these two functions, my answer ends up being that. Because 7 plus -4 is 3. And that's it. That's all there's to it. Of course, equations can get more complicated and stuff like that, but that's the idea. It's pretty good. Does anybody have one question right now that's lingering? Okay, let's see how you guys caught on. Let's try this one. Compose it. So now this one's backwards. Okay, the baby's not G, the baby is F. F is going inside of G this time. So it's the other, it's in the other direction. Like I said, it's not hard, just neat. Okay, so here we go. F is this, and F is going to go inside of there. So I can, again, I'm gonna do the circle just to, you don't have to, okay, but if you have trouble getting it, that helps out, okay. So in here, I'm gonna put in that, so x plus 7. Now on this one, the parentheses is necessary because you're squaring. Just like if you were to square a negative number, you need to put in parentheses. But guys, in complete honesty here, how many of you got this set up right? Just so I can see how we're catching up. Okay, we're about half. No worries if you did it. Okay, that's the setup. We can simplify after this. Now, I'm not super concerned about the simplify right now. I'm more concerned that you understand the plugin. Okay, so if I lose you here, don't worry a lot. I'm more concerned that you can do this first part. Okay, but square means times itself. So I can do this times itself. Okay. Multiplying binomials, you probably did a lot of that in Algebra 2, and we will for sure do a lot of that in here. Okay, and this is how it works. You just do this times this, 7x. That times that is 49. And then you do the other two, so x times x is x squared, x times 7 is 7x, and then we add all that stuff. And so if I add those, I get x squared plus 14x plus 49, and we still have that minus 4 out there. Okay. And so 49 and minus 4 do combine, they're just numbers, so it'd be plus 45 instead. So that's how you simplify, okay? But again, right now I want to focus on the plugin part. Okay, so we're about 40% getting it right so far. So try composing, these two, the next one. Okay. By the way, let's help out those. Who's the baby in this one, G or F? G. G's going into F. Okay. One thing that helps with this notation is like this. Put an arrow back. It always goes like that. Okay, so let's just do it here like 15 seconds or so. Okay, let's see. Honestly, guys, taught this several years. Some students do struggle to like grasp this. I think it's, if you're not a very strong visual person, it's hard for you to visualize that. So if you're feeling kind of, it's okay. Okay, So g of x goes inside here. Okay, so I write this plus 5, but instead of x. So one common mistake students will make at first is they'll rewrite this x again. But just like when you're plugging in a 2, you don't put that x anymore because you're replacing the x with 2. It's the same thing here. You don't put that x anymore because you're replacing it with that one. So that would be the correct setup. Okay, so be honest, how many of you set it up right this time? Right, or a little bit over half the class. Good. Simplifying, there's nothing you can do with that one. Okay. If the x squared was by itself, we could do something, but that 5 seemed away. Okay, very good. We went from 40 to like 70%. Let's try, well, this one.
This time it's F going into G.
Huh?
Is it F going into G?
Exactly. That's very good. G, F is going into G. Always draw it back like that. F would be the baby of this one. Think about if simplifying 2, like can you simplify that? Okay, so here's what it looks like. Okay. F is going to go inside of G. Okay. So G is something squared. Inside that something, I put it here. That parentheses that I put is not necessary. So if you didn't put that parentheses, it's okay. Okay. That's the setup. How many of you set it up right? With parentheses or without? It's the same. Oh, perfect, perfect. Now, we haven't talked about this in this class, but you talked about it a lot last year. Do you guys remember what a square does to a square root? It cancels. So your final answer here would be x plus 5. They do cancel each other. Okay, you're not supposed to like feel like, oh, I have this mastered today, okay? It's just, oh, I kind of see how it works today, okay? So tomorrow we'll practice some more, okay? And we'll continue compositions, but we'll go ahead and stop there, and we'll continue tomorrow.